Welcome everyone. This presentation, the AI Audit, Mapping Intelligence to Impact, is about taking a structured, practical look at where artificial intelligence can truly add value within an organization. Not just where it's trendy, but where it's impactful. Rather than approaching AI as a broad or abstract concept, we'll focus on identifying specific, high-value opportunities for integration. That means examining processes, workflows, and decision points to understand where AI can enhance efficiency, improve outcomes, or unlock entirely new capabilities. Today, I'll walk you through a clear framework for conducting an AI audit, helping you map areas of potential, prioritize initiatives, and align them with real business impact. By the end of this session, you should have a stronger understanding of how to move from curiosity about AI to actionable, strategic implementation. Let's get started. There's a common trap organizations fall into, getting excited about AI itself, rather than what it can actually do. But AI is just a tool, it's not a strategy. And on its own, it doesn't create value. The value comes from how effectively it solves real business problems. The objective here isn't to become an AI company. It's to become a better version of the company you already are. More efficient, more responsive, and ultimately more profitable. That leads to what I call the golden rule. Prioritize boring AI before chasing moonshots. By boring AI, I mean practical applications, automation, workflow improvements, reducing manual effort, minimizing errors. These are often overlooked, but they deliver the fastest and most reliable returns. Moonshots, like fully autonomous systems or groundbreaking predictive models, can be exciting, but they're higher risk and longer term. Without a strong foundation, they rarely succeed. So the mindset shift is simple but powerful. Focus first on solving everyday problems really well. That's where AI starts to make a meaningful impact. Now that we've established the mindset, let's look at where AI actually creates value. There are three core pillars to focus on: efficiency, effectiveness, and innovation. This framework helps us categorize opportunities and prioritize where to act. First, efficiency. This is about doing things faster and at lower cost. These are typically internal improvements, automating repetitive tasks, streamlining reporting, reducing manual data entry. This is often the quickest win and the easiest place to start because the impact is immediate and measurable. Second, effectiveness. This is about doing things better. Here, AI enhances quality rather than just speed. Think of more accurate forecasting, smarter decision-making, or highly personalized customer experiences. You're not just saving time, you're improving outcomes. And third, innovation. This is where AI enables entirely new capabilities. These are things that simply weren't possible before, like predictive maintenance, real-time recommendations at scale, or new data-driven products and services. This is where AI can become a true differentiator. The key is to recognize that all three pillars matter, but they don't carry equal risk or effort. Efficiency is usually the starting point, effectiveness builds on that, and innovation comes once the foundation is in place. This framework will guide how we identify and prioritize AI opportunities throughout the rest of the audit. So how do we actually find the best opportunities for AI? It starts with identifying friction points, those bottlenecks in your day-to-day operations where things slow down, pile up, or rely too heavily on manual effort. There are 4 key signals to look for. First, high-volume tasks. If something is being done hundreds, or even thousands of times a week, even a small improvement can create significant impact. Volume amplifies value. Second, data-rich processes. Anywhere you're dealing with spreadsheets, logs, emails, or customer interactions, there's usually untapped potential. AI thrives on data, so the more structured or unstructured information involved, the better the opportunity. Third, repetitive workflows. If a task feels like copy-paste, manual updates, or routine processing, it's a strong candidate for automation. These are often the easiest wins and the least controversial to implement. And finally, prediction-based decisions. If your team is relying on gut feel to forecast demand, prioritize leads, or anticipate issues, that's a clear signal. AI can bring consistency and data-driven accuracy to those decisions. The goal here isn't to overhaul everything at once. It's to pinpoint where friction exists today. Because wherever there's friction, there's usually an opportunity for AI to create immediate, tangible value. Once you've identified potential opportunities, the next step is deciding where to focus. Not everything is worth pursuing, and this is where the quadrant analysis or selection matrix comes in. We evaluate each opportunity across 2 dimensions: impact and feasibility. Impact asks, if this works, how much value does it create? Feasibility asks, how easy is it to implement with the resources, data, and tools we have today? This creates 4 clear categories. First, quick wins. High impact and easy to implement. These should be your top priority. Things like automating customer FAQs or generating meeting summaries can deliver immediate value with relatively low effort. This is where you build momentum and prove ROI early. Next, strategic bets. High impact but harder to execute. These might include more complex initiatives, like custom-trained models for supply chain optimization. They're worth pursuing, but they require planning, investment, and a solid foundation. Then we have fillers, low impact but easy to implement. These can be useful for experimentation or building internal capability, but they shouldn't distract from higher value work. And finally, low priority, low impact, and hard to implement. These are the ones to avoid. They consume time and resources without delivering meaningful returns. The goal of this matrix is simple. Focus your energy where it matters most. Prioritize quick wins, plan for strategic bets, and be disciplined about what you choose not to do. To make this more concrete, let's look at what AI opportunities actually look like across different parts of the business. Starting with sales and marketing. I can significantly improve how you identify and engage customers. For example, lead scoring models can help prioritize the most promising prospects, while personalized outreach can be scaled in a way that still feels tailored and relevant to each individual. In operations, the focus is typically on efficiency. AI can handle document processing, extracting and organizing information from invoices, forms, or reports, and can also optimize scheduling, reducing manual coordination, and improving resource allocation. For customer support, AI is a natural fit. AI-assisted ticketing can help categorize and route issues instantly, while automated responses can handle Tier 1 queries around the clock. This not only reduces workload, but also improves response times and customer satisfaction. And in HR, there are strong opportunities to streamline administrative processes. Resume screening can quickly surface the most relevant candidates, and onboarding workflows can be automated to ensure consistency and save time for both HR teams and new hires. The key takeaway here is that AI isn't limited to one function. It's a cross-functional capability. Every department has friction points, and with the right approach, each can benefit from targeted, practical applications of AI. At this point, it's important to address a fundamental truth. AI is only as good as the data behind it. You can identify great use cases and prioritize them effectively, but if your data isn't ready, even the best AI solutions will struggle to deliver value. There are 3 key questions to ask when assessing your data readiness. First, is your data centralized? If critical information is scattered across individual laptops, disconnected systems, or departmental silos, it becomes very difficult for AI to access and use it effectively. Ideally, your data should be consolidated, whether that's in a cloud platform or a shared data environment. Second, is your data clean? AI relies on consistency and accuracy. If your data is incomplete, duplicated, or poorly formatted, the outputs will reflect those issues. Cleaning and structuring data is often one of the most important and underestimated steps in any AI initiative. And third, is your data accessible? This isn't just a technical question, it's also about governance. Can your AI tools securely and legally access the data they need? Are there permissions, privacy considerations, or compliance requirements that need to be addressed? The reality is, strong data foundations are what separate successful AI projects from failed ones. Before scaling AI, it's critical to ensure your data is in a state where it can actually support it. Once you've identified opportunities and assessed your data, the next step is execution, and the key here is to take a phased, structured approach. In Phase 1, Discovery, which typically takes the first few weeks, the focus is on understanding your current workflows in detail. This means auditing processes, identifying inefficiencies, and, crucially, speaking directly with the people doing the work. They often have the clearest view of where the real friction points are. Next is Phase 2, Pilot or Proof of Concept. Here you select a single quick win and test it in a controlled way. The goal isn't perfection, it's to validate that the idea works and delivers value in a real-world setting. Then comes Phase 3, Evaluation. At this stage you measure outcomes. Did it save time? Reduce errors? Improve performance? Just as importantly, you gather feedback from users to understand what worked, what didn't, and what needs refining. Finally, Phase 4, Scaling. Once you've proven value, you can roll the solution out more broadly across the organization. This is where you start to see meaningful, cumulative impact, but only because you've validated the approach first. This phased roadmap reduces risk, builds confidence, and ensures that AI adoption is driven by results, not assumptions. As we accelerate AI adoption, it's critical to balance speed with responsibility. The goal is to move fast, but not at the expense of trust, accuracy, or culture. First, data privacy. AI systems often rely on sensitive information, customer data, internal documents, proprietary insights. Protecting that data is non-negotiable. This means having clear policies around what data can be used, where it's stored, and how it's secured. Second, hallucinations and reliability. AI can generate confident but incorrect outputs. That's why a human-in-the-loop approach is essential, especially for high-stakes or customer-facing decisions. AI should augment human judgment, not replace it entirely. And third, culture and people. AI adoption can create uncertainty among employees, particularly around job security. If this isn't addressed, it can slow adoption or create resistance. Transparency is key. Position AI as a tool to remove repetitive work and elevate more meaningful tasks, rather than as a replacement for people. Ultimately, successful AI implementation isn't just a technical challenge, it's an organizational one. Managing risk, maintaining trust, and bringing people along the journey are just as important as the technology itself. To close, the key message is this: the value of an AI audit isn't in the analysis, it's in the action that follows. The organizations that succeed with AI are the ones that take structured, deliberate steps forward. So here are 3 practical next steps to get started. First, appoint an AI champion within each department. This doesn't need to be a technical expert, but it should be someone who understands the workflows, can identify opportunities, and can act as a bridge between teams and implementation. Second, set a budget for experimentation. AI adoption is not a one-off project, it's an iterative process. You need room to test ideas, learn quickly, and refine your approach without the pressure of immediate perfection. And finally, a clear action item. By next Friday, identify 3 tasks in your area that are high volume and low complexity. These are your starting points, the quickest path to demonstrating real, tangible value. The goal now is to move from thinking about AI to actually using it in a way that drives impact. Thank you for watching.